How many times have you heard about this thing called search engine optimization or SEO? I have personally lived and breathed SEO for the last 17 years because it's one of the core elements of my marketing strategy for clients. But when we start talking about SEO, we start to hear about different flavors like on-site optimization and off-site and off-page SEO or citations and backlink building. It's enough to make your head spin, right? I think I'm going to have to create a limited series dedicated to all the elements that go into SEO. But for today, we are diving into a tactic that helps off-page SEO. It's called public relations marketing, and it's something that in itself can bewilder even the most veteran entrepreneur. So to help me break it down is Steven Lentz, a former firefighter who now helps businesses with their online presence and showing up organically using the magic of public relations marketing. Welcome to the show, Steven.
Awesome, Mike. Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate being here.
No worries. So now before the show, we had some power outages because you now live in is it a farmhouse or is it a barn house?
It's an old farmhouse. It's on 5 acres in the middle of nowhere.
Nowhere.
Yeah.
North
so
of
power
Seattle,
outages have
said,
been
right?
it's east, a little north and east. Yeah, it's a ways.
There we go.
It's out there.
I actually lived when I was very young. I lived in Spokane, Washington, which is on the other side of the state.
Oh yeah.
And that's where my sister was born. Gorgeous space there. Friends in Seattle, love the area there. You can have the politics. So that's all you guys. That's beautiful stuff there. But so that's why we have Steven is not in a formal studio or anything like that. He's made time for us to break this down from his home out in the middle of nowhere. Which I think is awesome.
Out.
Exactly. So for the ones who don't know, what exactly is public relations marketing? And like break it down into layman's terms for us.
Yeah, I think the easiest way to think about public relations marketing is using the existing media outlets that are out there to get your message out. So that's your Yahoo and your Bloomberg and your Fox and your CNN. Having someone else that is an authority presence in the media space talking about your business. And the simplest terms, that would be public relations marketing.
Love it. So let's get some examples out there for you. When I was first starting my business, I loved to try to get on the radio because the first rendition of my company was a recording studio. So I felt like people listening to music are usually musicians as well. And musicians always need to, get recording done, right? So I made friends I had friends actually already that were DJs for morning shows. So would you consider just getting on a radio show in the morning a part of public relations?
Yeah, absolutely. I think any leverage that you can use that's not yourself patting yourself on the back is a form of PR.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Putting yourself in a positive
sure.
light in a different medium outlook is, the goal. And more successful and less successful places to put yourself. But at the end of the day, our version is positive light, different outlet, not your audience.
Right. Okay. So when you say not your audience, what do you mean by that?
Yeah. So I'm assuming, right, most of your listeners are entrepreneurs or business owners and they have some sort of business savvy. Your audience is your email list, right? Your Facebook group, the people that you are connected into, that you're pouring into, that are connected to you, that know you, that like you, that trust you. My audience is not CNN, but I post on CNN and talk to their audience all the time. Right. So your audience is your own group, your network.
Okay. Yeah, we break that. Buzzworthy, we talk about the owned, the rented, and the earned. And so public relations is earned media. And so you're earning the right to be in front of an audience or rented. Oh yeah, I guess you can rent public relations as far as press releases and stuff like that, like online press releases. That's what you're talking about?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. But I also feel like it's the creative ways of doing things too. Not always like people think about press releases and they think, oh, there's something has to happen in my company to have a press release. Would you agree with that?
No, not at all. So I don't know if we're gonna get into this later, and like my goal isn't to make this like a pitch about what I do, but that is an important aspect of what I do with Ocelot Traffic. Like, we use press releases, news articles, blog posts, audio, video, infographics, slideshows, like all these different mediums targeting hundreds of different media sites. Right? So it's not just Yahoo saying something about you, but it's also YouTube, and it's CNN and their affiliates, and it's Fox's affiliates, and it's Bloomberg, and it's all these different people doing these press releases and these news articles, and like all of these tie together. I know we'll get into it later with like actionable items and stuff. I'm jumping ahead here, and my mind is like a crazy tree. I go every direction every other time. But the press release thing that gets me, and it drives me mad, is I see businesses do press releases and it does nothing for them. It's like, we made $1 million for shareholders press release, and it's like, wow, that has no searchable value. Right? Like, why did you flush $700 down the drain to get that on Yahoo? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So you don't have to be newsworthy to have a press release. You have to be intentional to have a press release. And press releases are a core aspect of the marketing that we employ. But the reason that we use them is because they're very SEO oriented. And this is why I say it's SEO, or PR meets SEO, because PR in itself is nice, but if it doesn't have any SEO element to it, you're just flushing money down the drain. Right? So when you make a press release, instead of being like, shareholders make millions of dollars for a business, it's, teeth whitening specialists in Florida expanding services for elderly patients in Medicaid. Right? Like, these are search terms that people are using to find your business. And so, do you want me to just like dive into the Google rant?
Yeah, why don't we talk about how like how the public relations marketing like helps that the offsite SEO?
Yeah. So okay, my whole thing is offsite SEO. Right? Like, I don't need access. I don't want access. I don't have access to any of my client sites. I don't do anything on site. Everything is offsite. It's all content, third party hosted and placed. So within that, the reason we do that is because if you have two businesses, right, Dr. A and Dr. B, and they both have a website, and they both say, hey, I'm really great, right? I'm going to pat myself on the back. And we all know it. I go to my website, I'm going to say I'm great. I go to your site, you say you're great. So how does Google differentiate? But if I have 50 pieces of content that say, hey, check out Steven, he does a good job, I'm much more credible than my competitor. Right? And so this is like the power of press releases that Google doesn't know, right? So how does Google figure it out? And it says, okay, well, who's talking about you? And we're going to rewind to the dawn of time in the internet of what I call the Google trust bias. Okay, so when Google came out, and you go to Google and say, hey, Google, how many bugs are in Africa? Google would say, here's 5 websites that will tell you how many bugs are in Africa. Right? Here they are. Here's my best guess of who's going to answer your question correctly. With social media and the understanding that data is everything now, this has changed. Right? Google's main priority is still to give you value, but they're trying to gather data. And so there's a thing called the zero click, in that you go to Google, Google answers your question, and you never leave Google. Right? 50% of traffic doesn't proceed further. Right? Google answers it. So I say, hey, Google, when did the Queen die? Google's going to tell me. Queen died this day, this year, this month. And there'll be drop-down boxes. Do you want to know where Princess Diana lived? Do you want to know how old Prince Henry is? Do you want to, like, Google is trying to gather my data. Aside from that, we all know that Google still wants to answer my question as appropriately as possible. Right? Because if it doesn't, we'll go to someone else. We'll go DuckDuckGo or Bing or whoever else. And so organically, Google will say, I think this first result is going to answer your question the best. I think this next result, if that first one doesn't do it, will like get you here. And so this is why when you look at pie charts and any other sort of graphs, and you say, hey, how does internet search traffic break down? The first organic placement gets about 40% of traffic. The second placement gets somewhere like 20, 30%. The third gets about 10%. And it drops off from there. And no one goes to the second page, right? We redo our search because we assume that Google can't figure out the correct response to the question we ask, right? We trust Google to give us the right data. I'm not saying that paid ads don't work, right? 5%, 3% of all, billions of traffic is huge sales.
Well, it's the first thing they see. So there's, yes, for sure.
Right. And this goes into like increasing your pay-per-click then as well, right? So if I'm running an ad for, let's go back to teeth whitening, right? And I see teeth whitening pop up on my ads there, I might click it, and there's a high chance they'll click back out of it to that main page to see if it matches up to the organic review site, right? So if there is a paid ad and then the organically says, hey, Google trusts me and you're also paying for yourself, like this is a legitimate ad. So a lot of times ads are actually paying for other people's organic sales. So it's important to match them together. And it's important to have just the SEO as well. So you can be successful without paid ads just by ranking organically, but that means you have to beat out everyone else in your competition to rank there. So there's only so much space on that first page. But that's my rant of the Google trust bias and how that works and why content is important, because showing up is really the king.
Right, it is 100%, and that's why search marketing is the core of where I like to get, especially organic, because you can earn that from there. I think there's another piece of the off-page SEO that PR does really well that you mentioned, was the fact that the websites that you're going after have huge domain authority, meaning that Google trusts these websites tremendously. And it's because they have so many visitors, so many users. And there's something that's called the domain authority. And so when somebody, it's an umbrella effect. Anybody that the big guy is linking to is basically telling Google, hey, I trust these guys too. And they're cool because we're giving them links. And so the more of those big sites that you have, the more Google's going to trust you, because you have all these other big known trustworthy sites that like you too. Right. And so I think that's another factor that into that SEO that the public relations and specifically the PR or the press release really lend to. So is this something that when we're utilizing? On that really quick? Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Google has shifted more and more from like being a computer algorithm that's easy to figure out and becoming more human. And you're familiar with BNI, correct? Business Network International.
Oh yeah.
Their whole thing is know, like, and trust. I forget the quote, and I'm going to say it, and I'm not going to give credit because I don't remember who said it. But all things being equal, we do business with our friends. All things being unequal, we still do business with our friends. And Google, right? And it's shift to humanity, if you will, and it's AI that it is. It's these high authority sites, right? They've vetted them over the course of time. And so when I say, hey, check me out, I'm great, and my domain authority is 7, 10, 15, 30, 40, somewhere in there, Google goes, that cool story, bro, I don't care. But when Yahoo, with a domain authority of like 92, says, hey, check out Steven, he does a good job taking care of elderly patients and whitening their teeth, Google goes, when someone's searching for elderly teeth whitening patients in Springfield, wherever, I know who to recommend now. Right? That's how it ties together. And this is why you make that SEO element into these press releases using these big media places, because that helps Google answer the question. Like, the content that we write is geared for human consumption, but humans are not our end goal. Our end goal is Google. Like, yes, it's nice to have it up on Yahoo, but I'm not there for the Yahoo readers. I'm there so when someone types in a search the question, Google says, hey, check out Steven. And it lends that credibility. And there's all these articles that should point to me, but also my website points to me. And then there's all this stuff that says Steven is the authority, because it uses the know, like, and trust of these other sites. So that's that's the important piece.
Yeah, you geek out on it like I do, man. I love it. No, it's awesome. The so if when we're doing that, and it's like, so we do that once, right? And it gets out there. How often do press releases that are SEO driven, right? Like you're saying, hey, listen, figure out what keywords your best clients are utilizing to find people like you without knowing who you are, and then have a press release wrapped around that question so that you have a better chance of showing up when they put in that particular question. So is the general rule of thumb then to have press releases span out over a year or a certain amount of time that touch base with each one of those questions?
So we recommend at least monthly campaign of content, right? So it's press releases, the blog posts, it's the video, it's all the different things, at least making it monthly, because it's like building a house or planting a tree, right? If you build a house and you finish it, right, you made your website, but you never put anyone in there, you never get renters, you never live in it yourself, what happens to it? It will go derelict, right? You might get some squatters in there. It'll eventually burn down or something will happen to it. And it's the same thing with your Google visibility, right? Like you can make a nice site, but again, going back to what Google wants to give the best value to its user base. And so if you don't ever show Google that this is active and living and like growing, this is what the press release does, is saying, hey, check out this business. They're doing this job. They're doing it well. They're expanding their services. They're increasing their locations. They're active in their community. If you go to them, they will serve you well, right? If Google doesn't see that, Google goes, no one's living, right? Why would I send someone to this page that I don't know if they're going to take care of my people? And they'll find, again, going, who answers the question appropriately? Who can I trust to take care of them? Right? Google,
I think that's
again, Google wants your data, but they want to take care of you. And if you don't show Google that you are going to take care of people, they're going to go to the next person. And so a monthly campaign or bi-weekly or whatever it is going to keep you top of mind of Google, as well as show Google that you are active and staying relevant.
Exactly.
Sorry,
and the reason for that is that Google is competing with other, even though they're the gorilla, they're the 10,000 pound gorilla in the room, they're still competing against other search engines. And the reason they are as big as they are, I mean, they have 92% of all search traffic when you take into account YouTube and the Google search and their extended search display and all the other things. But the reason that they have to keep doing that is if they don't, somebody else will. They have to be the ones that give you the most relevant, right? And there's a couple of things that you brought up earlier was the fact that we have different types of searches. We have informational searches for people who are just looking for when was Queen Elizabeth born, right? Versus a commercial intent where it's like, hey, where do I go to get my teeth whitened? Which is your example there. So that's why that's so important to the SEO factor. So say somebody's like, oh, wow, Steven, this is awesome. I think I want to take a look at public relations for my marketing mix. What are the first steps our listeners should be doing in this coming week if they're considering adding the PR to their marketing mix?
Yeah. First off, you get what you pay for, right? Like PR in itself is not necessarily cheap. And there's a lot of people who go to Firefighter like, hey, I can get you on, Yahoo for $700. And it's like, well, that's cool. But take in mind that like, that's one time for this one thing, and that's all you're getting. And like figure out, and it's hard to give like a really good recommendation without like patting myself on the back. Like you should use my service.
Well, what about a non-paid?
But
what about a first step in a non-paid?
I love that. Thank you. So you have your own blog, you have your own whatever it is. The first step that you want to do is going back to what I said before about being relevant in SEO searching and being very specific, right? Everyone thinks like, oh, I should be best dentist LA. Well, no one's typing in best dentist LA, right? Like Google's going to tell you, hey, that's like super high competitive. It's going to be, really expensive to get these clicks and stuff. Like you want to be best dentist. Google wants your money, right? They're going to give you skewed data. But that's not how people search, right? You have to understand the philosophy and theory of client interaction with seeking services and products. And it's hyper specific because, and I'm going to go to Seattle because I don't know the LA boroughs and stuff, but I'm not, again, best dentists or best lawyer Seattle. I'm going to go, teeth whitening in Ballard, which is a sub neighborhood of Seattle, because I don't want to drive 2 hours to go across the city, right? I'm looking for my service. I'm looking for the product. I'm looking for my locale. Like these are all important to me. And so when you create content, you need to be specific. Right? You do weight loss, cool. Talk about, the very specific questions that people are going to be typing in to Google, right? You service people regularly for different things. I'm sure that if you thought about it, you'd come up with like 7 to 10 frequently asked questions, right? Guaranteed they're going to Google with that question, right? Make your content, capture those keywords, and address that problem, because that's what Google's looking for. Google's looking to match up questions and answers. And if you can be very specific, you weed out 95% competition, because the 95% of competition is how to sleep better at night. And they're not saying, for this cause of gingivitis, for my front two teeth, this is this, like, that's how granular you need to get. So regardless of what you do, get granular, get specific, because that is going to give you the best results.
Awesome. Is there anything you could share with the audience that would have you ever played around with the local media to help with that? Because I mean, each of our local media outlets, wherever we live, has a website as well, right? Are there tips or any tricks of getting your story onto their website on the local level?
I generally don't reach out and try to find the local level for each of my clients, just because
Mm-hmm.
for what I'm already doing and the outlets I'm already using, it's not a good use of their money, right? I have to charge,
Mm-hmm.
I have to pay for the placement and the spot.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a paid ad; it is organic content, but I'm still paying to be on their site, right?
Right. It's a
It's just
sponsored
not.
content, what we call it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's sponsored content, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not economical to hunt down all the different local stuff, right? Google doesn't
Mm-hmm.
care that my client in Canada is being mentioned by a U.S. media conglomerate. What
Right.
they care about is that Google conglomerate and that they're being relevant and specific. And so, as long as your page is in English and somewhere that's how people are going to be searching for you, it doesn't matter. Like, as long as, like, find the news places and media outlets that are relevant and that have authority.
Okay. All right. Any last, other than sponsored content, is there anything besides blogs? I mean, blogs are owned, right? So we're talking about earned media.
Mm-hmm.
So is there anything besides the sponsored content that we can point our listeners to start this journey?
Yeah. I'm a big fan of YouTube, right? And the YouTube. So if you made a graph of like YouTube versus TikTok, right, you have
Mm-hmm.
the screen there. It's all weird
For
backwards.
those who are not listening, he's drawing
Joys of
things in
fun.
the air.
Trying to. I never graduated past stick figures. But if you had a graph, right, and it was, like views and time is your graph.
Mm-hmm.
And so YouTube starts out low of views and ramps up over time. You're building an asset is high views, low time, and it goes down. And you're just trying to get like that viral content. You're trying to make a splash. Whereas YouTube, you're building an asset that's going to live and live and live, and people are going to continue to discover you and continue to be fed by you. So I prefer the long game. I prefer to be somewhere where you're building an asset and you're making something that's going to continue on, and people keep coming back and building trust. And like, YouTube's not going anywhere. TikTok, that may not be here in like a year and a half, right? Like, who knows?
Right.
But
who knows? Yeah.
all that aside, YouTube is a great place to start content, and people have shifted. There was a time where it was like hot dogs or legs on a beach, right? So it was an Instagram thing, I think, and it'd be like a picture, and you try to guess if it was a pair of hot dogs or it was someone's legs. And we've moved from this idea of perfection into authenticity. So if you listen to Gary Vee, right, he's super authentic, and that's why he has millions and millions of people who follow him and love him, because he is 100% genuine all the time. And that's what we as humans, especially in this day and age, we are desiring. We're done with the catchy jingles. We're done with like the trickery of marketing. We want someone that's going to connect with us on a human level. And YouTube is a great way to just camera to face, be like, hey, this is my business. Have you wondered about how to replace your roof? These are the steps that we generally take. These are the things that we look out for. Like, you can see this patch on the gutter here. This is what it looks like. Thanks for watching my show. And every time that you get on your channel, you drop a specific piece of content. Again, going back to intentionality and specificity. It doesn't have to be sensational. It doesn't have to be, you're not trying to make a viral video. You're trying to provide value. Because at the end of the day, that's how you're going to grow your customer base of loyal customer referrals, is that people are going to say, hey, this guy he's honest, he's genuine, or she, right? They're providing value. They are authentic, and they know what they're talking about. And you build that trust and rapport. And so when they finally need to replace a roof in 5 years, they go, oh, I know exactly, because I've been watching this person for the last 3 years. Right? YouTube is a phenomenal vehicle to get content out there and to grow a lurker audience that will refer you and buy stuff without you ever knowing about them. That'd be
There you go. That's it. That's your mic drop moment. Right?
my,
Love it.
my earned recommendation.